Uh, hey, welcome to Act Dog. This video. Okay? I don't know. That's some real good content. So, let's get started.
It looks like for only motherships off the coast in the Gulf of Mexico, possibly also known as the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know where we're at with that. I'm not sure if that's final or not. But either way, I want you to see these videos because it's really awesome. They caught it, a few people caught it on the live cam that overlooks the ocean. And then they're also seeing them pop up in other places over the ocean, which I think is really funny because if you watch Bashar, I totally watch Bashar. I am weird in a lot of ways. If you follow me, you know this. If you don't, welcome. Anyways, Bashar said that what they were going to do was they were going to start showing themselves slowly, and then they were going to show their bigger ships off the coast and just like sit there so that we could see them, but we would know that they weren't aggressive and we would know not to be scared because we could just, you know, sit there and see that they're not doing anything. They're just saying, hello.
UFO caught on camera during the all-female Blue Origin missions.
A rare moon sighting was made by a tourist in Greenland, showing it to have a visible layer of frost that appeared out randomly, leaving all the bystanders pleasantly surprised. The fast-developing frost is believed to be a direct result of a freezing storm on the moon, triggered by a cause that's yet to be known. Could it be that the moon is having an unusually extreme case of ice aging? Another much bigger issue that arises is that this could have developed due to the direct consequences of climate change on our planet.
Just because they fly around in these really awesome spaceships doesn't mean they come from an unconditional love space. We will all be awed by the technology. Do not be awed by the beings that are flying it. Do not. They're absolutely no better than you. They're just not. Because as souls, we're all created at the same time. We're just on different levels on an evolutionary scale in the physical. But on a soul level, we're all the same. Okay, that's important, please, because in the next 5 years, you're going to have absolute proof. Okay, there is a world government. It controls all of our lives through the media, militarily, and of course, the big thing, money. Because they've got us all believing we have to have money to survive. Okay? And that's a belief system. You gotta have money to survive. It's a belief system. But we're all there. We're all in it. We're all participating in that belief system. Okay, you've got essentially the Draconans, I'll just put drags for short, believe that this planet and this solar system belongs to them because they were the first to chart it. They also believe that because they were the first to chart our planet, that they own the planet and everything else on it. Which right now is us. Underneath them is the Orions. They do the dirty work for the drags. There is a hierarchy. Just like in any government, there's a hierarchy. Even the dark forces are organized in a hierarchy, in a hierarchical government. Underneath that are many different groups, but we'll deal specifically with the Greys because that's what we're dealing with. The Greys were the first to make contact with our government. However, the Greys in 1931 also made contact, before they made contact with our government, with the Germans. But the Germans told them, go away. We're already in contact with extraterrestrials. And those extraterrestrials were the Giza intelligence. Does everybody know who they are? They were a renegade group of Pleiadians who believed in the Aryan philosophy, of which that's most of our lineages, the white race, being superior to all the others. Okay, that's where that was born out of. Okay, extraterrestrial. That's where it came from. Everything we virtually know about ourselves, we've been taught. We copied the gods. The mythological gods, the gods of Egypt, the gods of Sumeria, the gods of Babylon, the gods of Atlantis. We just emulated them. We're great copiers. And we saw how they treated each other and how they treated us. And we just emulated it and passed it on, legacy after legacy. So we just continue to pass it on. Now we're at a point where we're either going to destroy ourselves or we're going to evolve. We've literally put ourselves right here in the corner. Literally, as a planetary race. Okay, now, Pleiadians, to their credit, got rid of Giza intelligence. But they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys. And the reason they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys is because a group within our government signed the treaty. So the researchers who did this, who have come up with this information, are to be congratulated for the research that they've done. Okay? Much of this information I've been able to collaborate and say yes. They said yes, it's true, or no, it's not this information. Okay? And I helped fill the gaps, but I don't have all the answers either.
That would lead to another world or perhaps a place that you don't want to be. Now here's the other thing. This mirror was placed in a wooded area. Why? Where did it come from? My thought when viewing this video is, could it have been placed on a ley line? These are electromagnetic angles that are said to exist in certain parts of our planet. They're all over the place, frankly. I don't know that there's any instrumentation to prove that they are there, but based on experiments that have been done with dowsing, certain gynometers and other instrumentations, people have been able to detect certain angles with latitude and longitude that are considered power spots. I wonder, as I'm looking at this video, if this mirror was purposely placed on an energetic hotspot, a ley line. So if it's possible that he was able to walk through the mirror and end up in another environment, could it be on a power spot?
What's up, guys? So we got the spider drone out of Machu Picchu, Peru, and I'm trying to debunk this video here, and although I honestly think this is not real, or at least this is not an alien craft, this to me looks like a possible movie prop. That would explain the clockwise rotation, that it might be hanging from, like, let's say, a zip line, or not a zip line, but like a helicopter slowly moving it across the environment. If you notice, it's shaking a little left to right, a little like on its axis, like it actually is on some sort of tether. Craft that this advanced does not, I just don't think it would be needing to rotate in such ways. It might be due to the graviton drive or whatever, but again, I think this is honestly being suspended from a wire, and this has been shot in slow motion, and it is being hung and drug across the scenery. Again, what do you guys think? What's up, TikTok? Got another video for you that I'm gonna debunk.
You have been duped.
Here we go. Currently, this UFO video says cops supposedly seen this, pulled over, and recorded it. So here's a UFO, right? This video has almost 40,000 likes, almost 2,000 comments, and over 5,000 saves. Okay, so here we have a video of somebody who's pulled over, looks like possibly Los Angeles, and they are looking at a UFO mothership craft here that is barely visible. Some people might say it's cloaked, but to me, as a video editor, this is a entirely separate image that is overlaid into the screenshot or the video showing the probably San Fernando Valley. So this is fake, and I've done this in my previous videos as well, where this craft is barely visible, the transparency is turned. Here we have a video all the way off, and somebody who's pulled over. This is an overlay image, and TikTok, and they are looking at a UFO mothership craft here that is barely visible. Some people might say it's closed, but to me, as a video editor, this is a entirely separate image that is overlaid into the.
God, what are they doing? They're let it go out there. They're let it go out of there. They were just trying to protect you. Go out there. Stop
I've worked in the sci-fi horror genre for about 50 years now, and created some pretty elaborate special effects. This is tape number for a couple of reasons.
Shall we get the camera? Yes. Get the camera. Where is it? Control. Get out control.
Find or draw a nice picture of a flying saucer. Carefully cut it out, and you are now the proud owner of a fake UFO. Take liberal quantities of spit. Artistically attach it to a window. Nicely done. If you now observe your handiwork through your camera video finder, you will see that it looks like a UFO hovering in the skies. And you can control this UFO.
So now we got a video coming to you from Rome in the Vatican City. We got what looks like an orb in the sky reflecting over under the clouds over the Vatican City. This looks more like an RC type drone. This is not alien. This is CGI. You can tell because the graphics are much brighter, higher resolution than the rest of the surrounding images. This again is some really well multiple clips edited from different sources put together to make one single clip narrative about this drone UFO. Again, this was actually there being filmed when
I'm videoing this, and this is one of those drones that everybody's talking about. Right there. And at first I thought it was the ghetto bird, but it's not. And it's loud. Oh my god, here we go. Here it is. What is that?
This video surfaced online back in 2014. The entire scene was caught on Officer Joe Hall's dashcam as he pulled over a driver for an unsafe lane change. Per standard protocol, Hall approached the vehicle and asked the driver for his license and registration. According to the driver, as he reached over to provide the documentation to the officer, he noticed a bright light in the distance, when all of a sudden, it was as if the officer began to melt and suddenly vanished right in front of his eyes. The driver immediately fled the scene and called 911 from his cell phone. When the police caught up to the driver, he was detained and questioned. However, when this dash cam footage surfaced, the driver was free to go. This is truly one of those incidences where you'll have to see it to believe it. What do you think really happened here?
Reported a claim from a Pentagon whistleblower that back during World War II, Pope Pius XII tipped off the U.S. government about the recovery of a partially intact UFO that Benito Mussolini's Italian government had discovered. Beyond Catholics, if people start to realize that it's not an Adam and Eve story and it's not just Earth and there's a lot more to it, there goes religion.
The canonical, doctrine of many religions is very kind of set in stone, and so to go back and kind of rewrite history and to say, okay, well, perhaps not only we're not the only ones in the universe, but what if they don't look like us? Would that mean that people lose their faith? So all those questions is kind of what the theory is as to why perhaps they believe that either people are not ready for this or that they should indefinitely keep it covered up.
Now, I'm going to casually mention to you something that's very scary indeed. And tell you what the alien agenda is. And it's going to sound very familiar. The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. The U.S. military has known about this for 45 years. They've told no one. As far as I know, I'm the only person standing before a crowd talking about the alien agenda, secretively. Okay. Back in 1954, I'll give you a quick overview. There was the created 1954 treaty where Eisenhower signed a pact with the known alien species of the time. There were 3 at the time. And said that we're going to deal in high technology, but you can take a few head of cattle and a few human beings and you can experiment on them. It's unthinkable. Stuff straight out of the Nazi death camps, and I'm kidding you not. It's plain BS. And it's got to stop. Now, the created 1954 treaty had been violated. After the great firefight, the alien-human war, I am the only living survivor talking about it worldwide at all. Only one. The other 2 are in nursing homes in Canada, and the Canadian government refuses to allow any U.S. people, including myself, to talk to them because they are afraid of kidnapping. Probably the reason I got shot to pieces and 11 attempts on my life is I am a direct threat to the entire system. The New World Order, the alien agenda is one and the same. It's world takeover and the decimation of the population of this planet. Now, I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about the alien species. The bad news ones, 9 races of alien populations. They are a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenal corn. It's something like cocaine to them. Now, what can we do about it?
The Stargates and Looking Glass, and more specifically the 2012 problem with those projects. I guess, popular opinion of what's out there right now is that the project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. I've heard it described a number of ways, but to my knowledge, the problem is that the timelines converge on that point in time. And when you know enough about the Stargate projects and the Looking Glass project to know that how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass, because they would use Looking Glass knowing the choices that they would make and the future would pop up. The big mistake was coming up with the possibility of future. And when we started using the computer to say, well, if we make this choice, it's 79% possible that this scenario happens, and 23% are possible, or whatever, using round numbers, that this scenario would happen. The understanding at the time was that was realistic. However, if you go down the road further and free will continues to exercise itself on this game, that 79% possibility sometimes changes very, very fast. But if you look at the situation in a point of time, it seems very realistic that that's the greatest possibility. What happened was people, very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the Looking Glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point.
Agents, Green Berets, Black Berets, crack troops lost their lives because the government, our United States government, lied, did not tell us anything about the alien threat. There's a war underneath there, and I'm talking dead serious. It's been going on since that time. Since late August of 1979, our military, the Russian military, basically the militaries of the world, have been in constant conflict with the outer space alien. The small gray, the large gray, the reptilian, the whole thing. There are 11 distinct races of aliens. 2 are benevolent. One had to leave here in a hurry because their world is under attack, both on the surface as well as underground there, the Pleiadians. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. Would some of you raise your hands who've heard of Billy Meyer and some of the, very good, about half the group. Well, Billy Meyer is one of these lucky people that they figured, well, he's kind of a simple type, we'll show him everything. Well, benevolent aliens, and they've been here helping us. In fact, I have a picture, let me reach for it here. I have a picture of one of the aliens been working for the United States Pentagon for the last 58 years. His name is Val Valiant Thor. He's right here. There's my father in the background. This whole place, the ready room of the USS Eldridge, Al Bielek has probably explained, or maybe even shown you this picture. There's a list of some of the...
I couldn't
Northern, I guess, Northern, just came out
okay, we took my dogs out then. Yes, this is a mess, but this is what you get. Holy shit, what is going on? I came out here to let the dogs out. My backyard, we also have cornfields behind us, just cornfields.
Появляется все больше опасности. Только за последние 350 лет...
Слышь.
Ой, ничего себе! Что это? Вау!
The presenter seems totally shocked. Her reaction seems pretty genuine. What else could this be? We don't see wings or anything, it's just the ball of light, but it's really strange, and again, her reaction speaks volumes.
Появляется все больше опасности. Только за последние 350 лет...
Слышь.
Ой, ничего себе! Что это?
Mysterious reports of dimensional portals opening across the world are sparking curiosity and fear. Some claim these rifts could be linked to advanced scientific experiments like those at CERN, while others believe they signal a shift in reality itself.
Wait till end. Alien caught on security camera in Tamaulipas, Mexico.
That was Bible stuff. Hopefully you like and subscribe. This is my first broadcast, and we will be